Hi there, it's nice to see you. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the Arcana Archive series. This series is about drawing one of my decks from a piece of paper in this jar, and then we do a walkthrough and review on it. So let's go ahead, mix these around a little bit, and see which deck that we get today. The Northern Animal Tarot. Awesome. I'm going to go grab that deck, and we'll hop right in. Okay, here we have the Northern Animal Tarot. It comes in this beautiful bag. I did get mine on Kickstarter, and I do have the first edition, I believe. And this deck comes with a lot of extra cards that I will show you. I have trimmed mine down quite a bit. It does have an alternative Hierophant card, so I trimmed the one that I wanted to keep. You can kind of see the size difference. This is an untrimmed card, this one, and then this is how I trimmed it. These are the gorgeous backs. I know the second edition has, I think, a fox on the back, and it's green. It's very pretty too. This is a linen finish, very matte, very flexible, and that's part of the reason why I did end up trimming mine, because it was so flexible at this size that I ended up really bending them a lot more than I was comfortable with when shuffling. So I went ahead and I trimmed them. I also have small hands, so this size is much more congruent with my hand size. I did etch it in like this bronzy silver. I went over it with a couple different Sharpies. There is some bleeding, or you can see the mark on some of the edges. But I kind of like the character that it gives the card. Kind of like when people use their stamps and they go around the edges to give it an antique look. I think that's what that does. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera down, and we'll do a flip through, starting with all the extra cards that you get. Okay, so we've zoomed in, and we'll start with all the extra cards. So you get a title card, some spread cards, and I have done a couple of these spreads, and I did really enjoy them. Then you get phases of the moon, some seeds, some shadowy looking cards, and perhaps these extra cards were maybe mock-ups of different cards that the artist just didn't choose or go with. But I'm so glad she decided to, or they decided to, include them. So those are the extra cards. And then let's hop in to the deck. Starting with the Fool. This is such a beautiful Fool card. It screams innocence to me, and hope and renewal, and just that feeling when you're just ready to go on an adventure and you're just ready to hop right in and do something. Magician, fairly classic with all his tools here, as above, so below, symbology, High Priestess, Empress. I love that the Empress is a bear, like a very, speaks to the mother bear aspect, very protective, very nurturing, very caring, but powerful at the same time. Emperor. Do a side by side of the couple here. The Hierophant that has two versions here. I ended up choosing this one here, but the choice is yours. Set that one aside. The Lovers, gorgeous. Chariot, Strength. The Hermit. I love the smile on the Hermit, very joyful, very happy to be one with themselves. The Wheel, Justice. I really like that the artist chose to use a polar bear for justice, because I think in general and in real life, polar bears could use a lot of justice. Since, you know, you see those images that are so haunting of polar bears that are supposed to be very robust and large, and they're just very skinny. And I don't know, I think that's why I really like this pairing. The Hanged Beast. I like that this bat has shoes and pants on. Death. Stunning. Temperance. The Devil. The Tower. I like how this tree is out on the very edge of a cliff, so it's already vulnerable as it is, right? So something to hit it and then cause even more destruction and displacement of these animals. It's a very striking tower card. The Star. Got some like dandelions here, making a wish. I like that. The Moon. I love the way the artist depicts moons. I think she's very talented, and I don't know, they just capture my attention. The Sun. Skunk on a moose. Like that. And this kind looking sun. Judgment. Very powerful Judgment card. Sometimes going towards the light isn't all that we need. It's not the end all be all. It isn't everything we think it should be. There's a sacrifice to it. Sacrifices had to be made to get on the other side. The World, with all the constellations, the sun, the moon. We hop right into the Wands. It's very frenetic here, or kinetic, or whichever physics term is appropriate. You can just really tell that there's a lot of buzzing and idea and creativity, passion starting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Page. Very spry fox here. Pretty groovy fox. Foxy fox. Knight. Queen is just beautiful. I love how the sunflowers and the color of her shirt or dress is, it blends right in. I like that. And the King. A nice looking couple there. Pentacles. That growth is happening. 2. I like how expressive this deck is. The art just really captures emotion so well. The squirrel squirreling away. The studious page. The cautious knight. The centered queen. And the wise king. Swords. I like the background scene for this rest card. He looks pretty glib here for the 7. The 9. And the 10. Page. Knight. That's a blue jay. Queen. So the sword suit here, the courts are all bird figures. I'll have to go back and see what the others, if there was a theme. Ace of Cups. 2 of Cups. 3. 4. 5. 6. 2 little fawns here. Like 7. Facing all the different choices. Overwhelm. 8. I like this 8 a lot, and in the reflection of the water we only see the crescent part of the moon, not this. This feels like a guardian of sorts for this figure, this animal packing up, leaving behind, starting anew. 9, so beautiful. And the 10. The page. It's like an elk or a deer. Knight, maybe like a buffalo. Queen. King. Yeah, so these seem to be like the elk or deer family. And then find the swords. Then we have birds and owls for the swords court. Then for the pentacles, looks like we have bunnies. And then our first suit, the wands had, oh, like foxes and wolves maybe. I like that. I wonder if the whole suit is. I'm just noticing this for the first time, that wands are foxes. The cups are like deer and elk. Fawns. Swords are birds. And the pentacles are like mice, squirrels, rabbits, those critters. So that's something cool that I never noticed until doing this flip through of this deck. So let's go ahead and give this a shuffle. So because I have trimmed my copy, my shuffle here might be a little bit clumpier than it would be without being edged. So don't let the clumpiness speak to that's me modifying the deck. It's not the deck itself, but in general it still riffles shuffles pretty well. I haven't really used this deck. I know it is collectively across TarotTube a very well respected and well loved deck, and I completely understand why. The animals are very charismatic and it feels like they're so down to earth and warm and inviting. You can see this as a very good comforting deck, like a home base kind of deck. And I'm really seeking a purpose for it in my collection. It's currently in active purgatory, and what that means is I have identified it as a deck that I just don't use that often. And so on my tarot shelf, I have put it a different way than the others so that it kind of stands out, and in hopes that I will pull it out and work with it more to help find its purpose in my collection. And after an unspecified amount of time, it's kind of different for each purgatory deck, I will decide if it's here to stay or if it needs to move on. But I really don't have too many dedicated animal decks. I think I have the Anima Mundi and this one that are very specific animal decks. Otherwise, that's kind of an area in my collection I don't really have a lot of, and I do like it that way. But this deck is still trying to find its purpose. I really would like to use it more because it's so gorgeous. I don't have a guidebook, but I'm going to ask the deck. We could just do a little reading for the collective here. We'll see what comes out of it. I know that the author or the creator, I use the term author, I'm so used to like publishing speak, but the creator has just come out with a new deck in the same style. Her art is really stunning. I will leave links to, that is my fault. The cards are saying you're distracted. I will leave links to their website and any other information I can find on this deck. Some reviews that other people have done, perhaps. But I'm gonna focus here on card reading for the collective. Can I see a card for the collective? The Six of Cups. I think this is such a beautiful card to get. It's the end of summer. It's going to be school time again, and nothing speaks more like childhood to me than the start of school. That freshness, that newness, that hope that you feel of starting new classes, having new teachers, learning something new. It feels full of potential and wonder, and that's also a very good characteristic, or those are good characteristics of childhood in general. And maybe you need to sit with that energy. What is it that's been popping up? Maybe there's been some memories coming up for you. Maybe just take time to acknowledge those memories, or maybe this is calling you to think of something from your past and just reflect on it and think back to a time that maybe was a little bit more simple for you. Or maybe you're like me and you have a child starting school and you just feel that sense of nostalgia and that connectedness and that feeling of remembering what it was like to be a student, to have to go back to school. So maybe just taking time to reflect on your past a little bit, let those memories come to the surface, take time to acknowledge them, take time to appreciate them, and then send them back out in the world like these butterflies. Release them. I'm going to lay some of the cards out. So like I mentioned, I haven't really used this deck for one specific purpose. I have used it quite a bit since I've gotten it. I've had this deck a couple years now, and I just don't know why it doesn't capture my attention more than it does, because it's absolutely gorgeous. It is really stunning, and it's playful, and it is charismatic, and it feels very kind and warm and inviting. It feels all around seasonal. Each season is depicted very clearly in this deck, and I like that, because while I do like my seasonal decks, I do like decks that have a specific purpose. It is nice to have decks that are kind of that all-round go-to. And perhaps I'm just trying to find too narrow of a spot to put this deck in my collection when it would rather just be a general reader for me. So maybe I'm just trying too hard to pigeonhole it into something that it just maybe does better for general readings. I do like my decks to have a full purpose in my collection. And even if it's not a deck that I use all the time, if it's still something that can fit and it has a purpose and it doesn't feel like I'm forcing it, then I really enjoy those decks. So thank you guys so much for joining me today as I take you on a walkthrough of the Northern Animal Tarot. I hope that you will like and subscribe and stay around and be on the lookout for more videos from me as I try to get my channel up off the ground. And until next time, see you around.